Last season, Puka Nacua exploded onto the fantasy football scene, posting 105 receptions, 1,486 yards, and 6 touchdowns, all while finishing as wide receiver 4. This was all done with an ADP of wide receiver 75 overall. Who will be this year's Puka Nacua? Well, stay tuned to the fantasy football universe to find out. Hey everyone, and welcome back in. I'm Aaron St. Dennis at FF Mad Scientist, joined today by Jeremy Shulman at FF_Rebel. Here today to talk a little bit of rookies. The theme today is this year's Puka Nacua. Last year, he came out of freaking nowhere. We got a 5th rounder here by the Rams, and he finished as wide receiver 4. So that's the question I hear a lot, on Twitter and even in some of my rookie drafts. My buddies messaging me saying, hey, who's this year's Puka Nacua? That day 3 guy who comes out of nowhere. He was being drafted in rookie drafts as wide receiver 15. 15, not among all receivers like in the NFL. Rookie receiver 15. There were 14 receivers in the rookie draft that went ahead of him. I want to emphasize that. 47th overall, so he wasn't even being drafted in like the 3-round mocks. So today, what me and Jeremy are going to do, we've each picked a guy here who went, I think both of us picked someone on day 3. Did you? Yeah, day 3?
Day 3, yeah.
Day 3. I got a day 3 guy. You got a day 3 guy. My guy's a bit of a cheat, though, because I don't think my guy should have gone day 3. I don't know what the hell these guys are doing.
Same.
So I don't know. We want to start with your guy. You want to start with my guy? Where do we begin?
Let's start with your guy because he went 8 picks before my guy. But before we get started, I do want to say we're getting a little more professional here at the Double FU. I love that intro. And we're so professional that now I'm in the corner of my bedroom with my laptop balanced on a yoga mat. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. But nice intro there.
That's professional. That is professional. I'm so professional. I'm in my kid's room. I was smart enough to put a sheet over his dresser so you couldn't see it, but not smart enough to remove his dirty laundry from said dresser. So I'm currently working on my new studio in the back. I just don't have it set up yet. So let's get into it. As we said, my guy here is Troy Franklin, selected 102nd overall by the Denver Broncos. That's a slip. So what's that? Early round 4. I was kind of
102. I think it was the second in the overall pick in the 4th.
Yeah, that's what I thought so too. He was a guy, when we first started this, he was in the conversation. It was him and Rome Odunze for wide receiver 3 overall in this class. It's since, obviously, Rome Odunze's moved way up. Troy Franklin's moved way down. I don't think it was anything Franklin really did. That's the issue. I get it. Everyone's climbed on the hype train for Xavier Worthy and McConkey and Pearsall and Leggett. We've got 100 different guys who have all seemed to have gotten rookie hype here, and everyone just kind of said, screw it, Franklin, you suck. And he's fallen down drafts. I got a buddy I was helping him through his draft yesterday, got him in the middle of the 3rd round. I don't know how that's possible. And I didn't love the prospect here. I thought he was kind of one-dimensional, but I thought that of all the guys outside the top 3 receivers, sorry, sleeper notifications, damn drafts, outside of the top 3 receivers, I thought they all had the same flaw. They were all really fast guys, really good at contested catches, not great route runners. That's the same for Franklin. So I didn't really, plant my flag on him as my guy, but then he fell into the 4th round, which is later. Like, I didn't think he was going to go round 1 like everyone kind of projected. But then to see him fall out of day 2 altogether, I lost my mind. Everyone said, oh, I'm out on him. Then you look, where did he go? He went to the best possible situation. He's in Denver being reunited with his college quarterback, Bo Nix, on a team that really doesn't have anything else at receiver. You've got Marvin Mims, who is okay. You've got Cortland Sutton, who has been good from time to time, but he's never healthy. For all we know, he could be traded. So I think I'm back in on Troy Franklin. I don't know if he has Puka Nacua potential here, but at very least, he's a great value in round 3 of rookie drafts, 102nd overall, reunited. What better safety blanket for a rookie quarterback than his old receiver from college. So what do you think here? Are you in or out on Franklin with me?
100% in. I see
Yes.
him always in the third round. I'm happy to take Troy Franklin in the second round. He was a
Remember?
back end. He was a back end first round pick
Yes.
for us before the process, and it was the production, which was
Yep.
absolutely pretty much off the charts. Look, the Oregon offense is a little, gimmicky in terms of not necessarily the way the Tennessee offense is, the way we talk about it in college football, but in the sense that it tends to inflate these numbers because of how pass heavy it is and how focused it is in that direction. But Troy Franklin, if you turn on the tape, he's got the yak ability, even if he's not breaking tackles because he's smaller. He's obviously got the speed. He ran a 4.4 140, right? So he's not blowing guys away like Xavier Worthy, but that's still plenty fast. I love Troy Franklin. I agree with you. I don't think he should have fallen into the fourth round. And we're really starting to split hairs with your guy and my guy here because we're saying they're day 3 receivers. Your guy is a day 3 receiver by 2 picks. So I'm not. Sometimes we let analytics uh, create these arbitrary, cutoff points where we say a guy, I'm in on a guy or I'm out on a guy. It's a lot more gray area here. And even though it's only, probably somewhere around an 8 to 10% hit rate for these guys or whatever that statistic is, Troy Franklin has every possibility to be one of those 10 percenters who can come in and, like you said, great situation with his college quarterback. I said this to Jesse on a pod the other day, so I'm in lockstep with you on this. Is people are going to be like, oh crap, when they hear in camp that like Bo Nix's favorite receiver in camp is Troy Franklin. Like, no shit, right?
Yeah, thank you. My no shit was my exact response. I'm glad you said it. No fucking shit.
It's gonna be obvious. So like he's gonna garner that hype. You're gonna hear it all off season. And listen, for all the faults that Sean Payton had in Denver last year, he got rid of some guys. He's finally got healthy. He's got his quarterback, and his quarterback, Bo Nix, is going to want to get the ball to Troy Franklin. So I wouldn't be surprised if Franklin, even beats out Mims for that starting spot.
I just don't understand the hatred for him. Like, even the guys, I get it, top 10 receiver, top 15 receiver. Historically, even a lot of these guys have been busts, so they're not sure things. But okay, you want to take the top guys. I'm not saying he belongs in the top tier with Harrison Jr., Neighbors, or Dunze, but like once we get that past that group, I'm not any more convinced Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr., McConkey. I was doing a head-to-head yesterday for the fantasyfootballuniverse.com of Brian Thomas Jr. versus McConkey. And the production, if I had included Franklin, easily goes to Franklin. Like Thomas Jr. had one good season, not even an elite, one good season. Led McConkey's best season was like 600 yards out of 3 years. Like, I get it. We fall in love with this. Everyone who could be a white slot receiver is the next Cooper Kupp. I mean, if there's any more, we're just stereotyping at this point. So Led McConkey has moved up. I get it. He got round 2 draft capital, but round 2, round 4, I don't really give a damn. He's not they're not a first round pick. So at this point, I don't get why he's falling so much. He's just as likely to hit as any of these Coleman, Leggett, Pearsall. Pearsall, even, he has way less competition than Ricky Pearsall does. So I don't understand why he's falling so much here. He was, like you said, in our first mock drafts we had, he was going anywhere. He was the bridge pick between 109, 110. The last one we did, he went 208. That's the highest I've seen him pick. The actual drafts, that's a mock. The actual drafts, he's been going in the third round. So I don't get this.
Yeah, I mean, writing him off purely because of this draft capital and the fact that, the combine wasn't electric, right? Nobody really expected that. I mean, if you look at his RAS, it's still pretty good. It's, it's like a 9.3, right? So that's still pretty solid for an NFL wide receiver. He's not as elite as the other guys in this class, but we've been talking about how historically awesome this wide receiver class is. We're seeing it, but I think people are going too far. The fact that we're taking Malachi Corley and Roman Wilson over Troy Franklin is too much for me. I really am going to place my bets on Franklin because he's got the speed in his favor. mostly, but he's got the production in his favor. It's there, and he's with his college quarterback. So the fact that we're fading him just because of the draft capital, I totally agree with you. That shouldn't be happening. And the other thing is, you asked the question, like, why do we think he's falling? There's a couple of things, right? He fell in the NFL draft because NFL teams love this wide receiver body type, right? It's why we saw I'm trying to think of guys who went a little bit earlier than we expected, but those like 220, 6'3" wide receivers, right? If you're one of these big, Keon Coleman, for example, went a lot earlier than we expected him to go to the Buffalo Bills. Leggett is another example of a guy that the NFL falls in love with these big body types, and they think they're like women sometimes. They think they can change these bad men, right? Like no, if they're bad, they're just bad. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Hey, like no judgment out there, but the NFL's got it wrong. So what I think is, you got Leggett. Is he a first round talent? You got Coleman. Is he a 201? I don't know. But Troy Franklin, he's a smaller guy. We want smaller guys to separate. He doesn't separate great. It's something I think he can learn, but yeah, I totally agree with you. Troy Franklin, the people are out on him, and it's weird.
I don't even know where to go from there. That's the single best analogy I've ever fucking heard.
These
NFL teams are like your wife or your girlfriend. They're always trying to fucking change you instead of accepting your flaws and taking you for what you are. I love that. That is, I'm gonna make t-shirts of this. But so all right, we'll transition into your guy here. You've got Javon Baker, selected 110th overall by the New England Patriots. Oh, that's a bit of a homer pick there, out of UCF. But what is it about Baker you're liking here?
Yeah, it's not only landing spot. It's the fact that he fell because of character concerns, or the fact that he couldn't stick on the team. He doesn't like coaches, or coaches don't like him. Like, okay, I hear you, but like the talent is obviously there when you put on the tape. Like everybody from literally everyone at Fantasy Pros loves Javon Baker. Debro was on our show like a month ago professing his love for the guy. Like, the talent is there. He's got the size, right? He's got the ability, and he landed in a spot where it's literally wide open. He can be a 4th round receiver and come in and become the number 1 target if he's that good and he can, straighten up, right? So Javon Baker, I think I'm going to bet on talent and situation in this case. And if Drake May is worth anything, he can probably support 2 wide receivers in year 1, not necessarily for elite fantasy production, but also for the production we want to see as a rookie, especially as a 4th round pick. And then we can move up and up and up. But look, people are drafting Javon Baker as if he's going to outproduce Jalen Polk, who the Patriots took in round 2, right? So yeah, absolutely. So, we weren't huge fans of Jalen Polk either. We all liked McMillan better than Polk. So yeah, I can absolutely see it. Baker could be the one, and we could all say, oh, this is the next Puka. So for me, this is the obvious one. It's probably the chalk pick in terms of the way people are thinking about Javon Baker, but I don't care. Like, if I'm going to bet on anybody, I'm going to bet on the guy with freaky ability and, in a wide open offense.
Yeah, and we've seen this recently, like Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson. Nobody give a shit that Romeo Doubs was drafted way later. I mean, there were some injuries to factor in, but 2 rookies coming in. You can't just assume Polk's going to be the guy. He could be a total bust. I like taking my shot there on Baker at half the price. What has I seen? Polk is going in the 2nd. Baker went. Oh, I took him. Okay. Baker would have gone later than the 3rd, but I took him with my pick in the 3rd. So I like that pick. It's a good pick. But no, you're 100% right with what you started. This is what I like to get to. When we're later in the rounds, like round 3, 4, 5 of rookie drafts, I don't care at this point about what their talent was, like what they look like in college coming in. I want guys who I can either find a pathway to touches. If there's not a bunch of roadblocks in front of him, he has that. He could easily beat out Polk, Demario Douglas, or a guy who had tons of talent and has fallen like Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, because either medical issues or because he's a fucking head case. I don't care if he's a head case. They're a receiver. They're all fucking head cases. Who cares? Antonio Brown was the single best receiver in fantasy for what? 8 years? Okay, yep. So in the end, after winning you 8 championships, he ran naked across the field. Oh, well, shit happens. He's gonna Antonio Brown. It's what they do. That was actually they made a couple of good jokes about him last night. If you watch that Brady roast,
I gotta go watch it, but I've seen a few clips for sure.
I'm exhausted.
I just did the Giselle +1 joke.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So, but I just know I love him. He's obviously character concerns. That's why he fell. It's worth a shot. It's a late third round pick in a rookie draft. It's even later than that. It's way down there if you're taking him. I'm trying to find him in redraft leagues. I don't even know where he's probably outside. He is wide receiver 73 overall. So that's probably not even a receiver drafted. So he's free money. If he hits, great. If not, I get it. These profiles don't always hit. I did the same thing 2 years ago with Justin Ross. Who's the guy who had cancer from Alabama? John Mechie. Same thing here. Both medical issues. They didn't hit. It doesn't always hit, but you know what? When I'm drafting him in the last round of a redraft league, or I'm drafting him in the third, fourth round of a rookie draft, I don't give a shit. Because if he hits, he's free money like Puka. If he misses, oh well, I threw away a third round lottery ticket pick. So I am 100% on board with that.
Yeah, and the only other thing I'll say is let's just go back and have a look at the depth chart. We've got Polk and Baker, right? But who are the other Patriots wide receiver? Pop Douglas, who came out of nowhere, who probably will go back to nowhere and fall into obscurity after these two guys have been drafted. Kendrick Bourne, a lot of these guys have been drafted. I'd say maybe Polk included for their blocking ability, right? But guys like Javon Baker, I mean, if you're talking about who do we want moving in and out of the slot, playing multiple roles, playing on the outside, contested catches, throw it up, see what happens. Rookie quarterback's best friend. I think that's Javon Baker over guys like Juju Smith-Schuster and KJ Osborne and Jalen Reagor, right? Tyquan Thornton's not even going to make this team. So, Javon, not even worth mentioning the Butte. The Butte is not looking too good in New England, but yeah, that's the thing is that it's so wide open. We know the Patriots are going to be run first team, but like Hunter Henry isn't necessarily shouldn't be necessarily the number one target. And the running backs, we know, even though we have Antonio Gibson there, they're not going to earn the targets that they should from a running quarterback. So we want a downfield guy. We know May can sling it once he gets in there. So yeah, give me all the Javon Baker I can handle.
All right, and that is a wrap on this year's Puka Nacua. I went with Denver receiver Troy Franklin. Jeremy took New England receiver Javon Baker. Check back tomorrow. We are going to be doing this year's Kyren Williams. And there's some interesting choices. It was kind of a slaughter at the draft for the rookie class. Not really too many of them gained value, but we'll find some gems there late in the rounds. I know I've got one. I think you've got one in mind. So check back tomorrow for that. Head over. We've at fantasyfootballuniverse.com. We've updated all these guys' rookie profiles. They're starting out today. I think we hit Marvin Harrison Jr. today, or maybe that's tomorrow. It's Caleb Williams today. But follow, subscribe, rate, review, comment, all that fun stuff. And we will see you back tomorrow. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Take care.